So, Kayla, I want to get going with you first. And I just wanted to ask you, since we're talking about the difference between writing for print and writing for digital, what is the fundamental mindset shift writers need to make if they move into this space? Kayla, what would you say to that?
Hey, Amy, and hey, everybody. I see everyone's chiming in from all over. It's super exciting to be here. Yeah, I think for me, even going independent this past year and even fleshing out my own blog and toying with the idea of switching that to an audio series, I actively went through that process. So in any case, it's writing for the ear. You need to be conversational when you're writing. You need to write as if you're talking to a friend, because that's what the audience is. And I think the biggest hang up is you're trying to take complex information to make it concise. Yes, that's difficult. And that is what's going to take up a little bit of time, but I think it's also being mindful of your time, because it's also speed, right? We're in this area where we're competing with so many different factors. And so it's taking this information. How do I make it so my friend down the street, I can just let her know what this is about? And that's essentially what it is. And and how it translates across brands.
Absolutely. And I love that about how you talk about how do I make it, understandable for, just the person down the street. Um, do you What do you think the difference is when you're writing for video? Is there a different mindset you have writing for video versus print? As you're starting to approach a project from the very beginning.
You know what's so interesting is, as I was thinking about this, the great part is that it all starts with a headline. Yes, just like print in a way, but is your headline visually engaging? Are you really making this visually appetizing for your audience? That's essentially the biggest difference, because when the person is looking at this on the page, they need to know what they're going to click on as before they click on it. And you also want to make sure you're matching up that promise to them. You don't want to be misleading. So all those things kind of fall into that scope.
Right. Kayla, and before we get too far into this, as you're answering this question, would you tell everybody a little bit about the types of videos that you've worked for? So whether those have been,
Yeah.
news based, whether they've been solely entertainment based, give us a little bit of your background in your history with video.
Yeah, sure. So I've worked on trending news stories for Entertainment Tonight, also New York Post and Page Six, and also exclusive interviews for both brands. After starting at CBS News, I started in the broadcast news space. So all I know is video. But what the great part of that is, you learn so much going from broadcast to digital video, and then learning how to blend both worlds makes it even more exciting, because you're like, oh, the sound of it all makes it that much better to engage the audience with. Um, but yeah, that's essentially for me. And Haley, what do you? Yeah, Haley, if you don't, I don't know if you want to touch on that at all.